Alex's cave got a new cave called the Candy Cavity, adding new blocks, mobs, and a ton of new feature, and today I'm gonna show you everything you need to know about the Candy Cavity. First of all, finding the cave is the same way as any other cave. You can find tablets in the underground cabins, but you can also find tablets in the chest of the witch hut. And the first thing you need to know about the Candy Cavities is that every single block in the cave can be eaten. Every single one you can find. If it's a block, you can eat it. But by eating the candies in the Candy Cavities, there's a chance that you get the sugar rush effect. This effect will give you some kawaii eyes, slow the world around you, and give you the Alpha Steve walk. Everything is slowed down, you are extremely fast, a bit hard to control, and the food that gives the more chance to get the sugar rush is the sundae, but we'll get back on that later. Now let's talk about all the blocks that can be found in the new Candy Cavity. First of all, the most common block you'll find is the block of frosted chocolate. By itself, this block does nothing, but if mined without Silk Touch, or just right below it, you will find some block of chocolate. With 2 chocolate, a sugar, and a glass bottle, you can make a hot chocolate bottle. This is a kind of food that will also remove the insomnia effect that makes the phantom spawn. You can also put 4 chocolate together to make a block of polished chocolate, and with 2 blocks of polished chocolate, you can make the chisel chocolate. In the cave, you can also find some chocolate tablets, just like that, containing already crafted polished chocolate and chiseled chocolate. If you shear the random sweet puff that you can find on the ground, you can add 4 to make a block of frosting. The block of frosting can be turned into a block of vanilla frosting, a block of chocolate frosting, or simply returned back to the frosted chocolate. And with any block of frosting and some cake layers that you can find pretty much anywhere in the cave, or a giant sweet berry that can be found atop some giant ice cream scoop, you can make a cake. Just a normal cake. In the cave, you can find some giant donut containing some dough, but the dough block has no utility other than be eaten. With 4 cookies, you can make a cookie block, or you can simply find it in the cave, but with these cookie block, you can craft some wafer cookie block. It also comes in 2 stairs and wall variant. I'm not gonna mention it every time, but don't forget that everything I'm saying right now can be eaten. Along your journey, you will also find some gingerbread town, containing some gingerbread block that can be turned into bricks, or doors, and these gingerbread blocks can also be frosted, but only with the vanilla frosting. And vanilla frosting can also be turned into bricks by combining 4 frosted gingerbread blocks. Each of these blocks also have a stair, a slab, and a wall variant. In the cave, you also find some block of ice cream. If mined without Silk Touch, it will drop an ice cream scoop. There's 3 flavor, chocolate, vanilla, and sweet berry. The flavor doesn't do anything except colors. You can use fortune to almost guarantee 4 drops of ice cream scoop that you can recraft back into ice cream blocks. The ice cream scoop is special if you have an effect, or a friend, or simply a mob have an effect. You can throw the ice cream scoop, and if it lands on the mob, it's gonna remove effect just like milk. But it doesn't work if you eat the block of chocolate ice cream. Only works with the scoop. In the cave, you will find some giant glass bottle made out of sugar glass. This glass is extremely fragile. If you even just jump on it, it will break instantly. It behaves pretty much like thin ice from Terraria, but if you also drop any item, it will break. Any entity that lands on the glass will break it. The sugar glass will drop sugar and can be recrafted with sugar and peppermint powder. Using Silk Touch will drop the block itself. Now moving on to one of the most useful blocks in the cave, the candy cane block and the peppermint. Mining all of these without Silk Touch will result into some peppermint powder. Any candy cane block can be stripped down with an axe, and the small one will connect with each other if you place them like that. Breaking the candy cane with fortune will yield more drops. Using the peppermint powder, you can recraft the small peppermint that you broke, and with 2 large peppermint, you can make the chiseled candy cane block. Peppermint powder is also used to make way more than that, but we'll come back to that later. Now the candy cane block and pole can also be recrafted with using the candy cane that can be found on the ground. They are pretty much everywhere. You can place up to 4 on a block, but will also be one of the most useful items to craft. We'll come back to that later. Now laying around in the cave here and there, you will find some sun drop. These emits light, are bouncy like slime. They will sometimes shoot out rainbow just like that, but even though they're bouncy and can bounce item like that, when powered by the piston, they won't shoot out blocks like that. And the sun drop can be used to make the rain bounce boots with a bit of gelatin. We'll come back for that later. The rain bounce boots gives few armor, but will make you extremely bouncy and will prevent you from taking damage. Although they can be sometime buggy, because I've seen myself take some damage even with these just like that. I think if you land on the side of the block, it will probably bug them out and you will die just like that. So be careful when you use these boots. They are not fully bug proof, but I think they're gonna fix that in the next update. Now moving on to some only decorative blocks, but also food. There's the sprinkles and the lollipop bunch. These are basically just grass blocks or carpet, and you can place 4 sprinkle in the same block. Now around the cave, you will find some trees growing called the lico root. These trees doesn't have wood variant, they are just 1 block, but they will have some Lico Root Vine. The Lico Root Vine is used to make a bunch of blocks that we'll talk about later. You can recraft it back into a Lico Root block, but you can also make the Lico Root Sprout to grow more tree. I've had some trouble grow the tree, but with bone meal and if you have enough space, I think it can grow. I'm not sure exactly what makes it grow, but I think it has to be on a block of frosted chocolate to work. Mostly found on the ceiling of the cave is the Frost Mint, a dangerous block that when entered into contact with the soda will result in a violent explosion. This Frost Mint can also be crafted with peppermint powder and blue ice. There's a small bug that will probably get fixed, but if you have some gummy ring and make them explode near a peppermint powder, they will duplicate. With some candy cane, the Frostmint can retransform into a Frostmint Spear. The Frostmint Spear is a throwable spear that can be launched at enemies and explode in a frosty explosion. The purple soda can be found randomly in rivers within the cave, but also always in these glass bottle here. You will often find some gummy ring laying inside or outside the soda. These gummy rings do nothing except that you can place them like a vertical slab. The purple soda can be picked up in a bucket. You can also bottle the purple soda to make some purple soda bottle, and combined with some Frostmint can make some purple soda bottle rockets that can be used to replace the rockets for the Elytra. Don't worry about the explosion, it's only a visual. The purple soda will convert water, lava, and acid into rock candy of the appropriate color. Purple soda cannot be infinite, and if you waterlog or soda log a gummy ring, do not pick it up with an empty bucket or your game will crash. I'm guessing this will be fixed too in a future update. So this can technically be used as a rock candy generator. Rock candy comes into 16 different colors, just like wool or concrete, and rock candy can be crafted with peppermint powder, sugar, and the appropriate dye. You can re-dye any rock candy with any dye at any time with 8 rock candies around the dye. Now that we're done with the blocks, let's see all the mods that can be present in the candy cavities. And first of all, we have the sweet fish. These gummy fish will come into 5 different colors. If they are killed, come back here, come back here, come back. If they are killed, they will drop themselves, can then be eaten, but also smelted down into gelatin. Gelatin can be turned into the green gummy ring, the rain bounce boot, and other stuff that we'll see later. Oh, and also eaten, of course. These should be bucketable with a bucket of sweet soda. I just somehow can't do it. Editing Karat here, it's an already known bug and it has been reported. Now, next mobs on the list is the gummy bear. And right now, we have exactly what kind of interaction they can have with the fish. They will only attack fish of the same color as them. They come in the same 5 color as the fish or the ring or anything gelatin. Gummy bear can be fed potion. It has to be a potion with time and not like potion of healing. And when fed, they will instantly hibernate for a few in-game days. After hibernating for a number of time, they will run to a Lico root scratching their back and drop a few jelly beans of the appropriate potion. These jelly beans acts exactly like the potion. They can be stacked up to 16 and can be eaten extremely quickly, making it a way better option than potions. The gummy bear can be bred with the same color of fish as themselves, and the baby will have one of the 2 parents' color. They are normally neutral, but when in presence of a child, they can be quite aggressive. Just like, I got this one. When killed, they will drop fish and gelatin of their color. The caramel cube is a slime that can come in many sizes, and when fought, will drop some melted caramel that will substantially slow anything that stepped on it. They will split like normal slime, and when the smallest is killed, will drop some normal caramel. The caramel is one of the ingredients to craft the sundae, along with sweet berries, candy cane, all 3 colors of ice cream, and a bowl. This is a really good food, but will also have the highest chance to give you the sugar rush effect. Caramel can also be used to craft the caramel apple, that is also a better source of food, but is also used to tame the candy corn. Candy corn will behave pretty much like any horses, except that they are neutral, so if you hit them, they will charge at you or any mobs that hit the candy corn. Once tamed, you can put a saddle on it and ride the candy corn, and the more you run with the candy corn, the more that this little meter will fill up. And once it's filled, you can press G to unleash a charge and damage and push back any enemies in your path. They can be bred with candy cane and will have the color of one of their parents. And there is 5 different variants of candy corn. The gingerbread mans can be found in Gingerbread Town. This is a tiny town with tiny doors where a player cannot fit in. The gingerbread men are little rascal and they will steal candy item from you. Like right now, I just got stolen my caramel apple. I don't know where it went. But inside their little town, you will find some ginger barrel. Oh, there we go. It's just stored the caramel apple right in front of us. Once the gingerbread man has stole at least 9 items of this list, they will craft you a gingerbread piece of armor. And now we have the gingerbread chestplate. Each piece of armor will make you run 10% faster This armor will give about the amount of armor of a gold or chainmail chestplate. But one of the main features of the armor is that the more degraded the armor is, the faster you will go. Now every piece gives 30%, 35%, and we're not even halfway through the armor's durability. Right, so our armor is almost broken, about halfway or lower, and let's see how fast we go. That's pretty fast, to be honest. Combine that with a potion of swiftness, and you go extremely fast. Gingerbread men are pretty weak and will drop some gingerbread crumbs. With the crumbs you can make the block, the ginger barrel, the convection oven that will come back later, but also a secret recipe called the Alex meal. This food has a ridiculous amount of hunger and saturation, but has a chance to give you food poisoning just like a rotten flesh. Eating the Alex meal will also give you nausea and bad omen for 40 minutes. Now moving on to the gum beeper. It is a sort of creeper that will shoot gumball at you. And he accidentally hit one of the gingerbread men. These gumball will bounce everywhere, so be careful because it can bounce back at you, and once it's out of gumball, it will explode in a gumball-y explosion. If you manage to kill the gum beeper before its last explosion, it will drop some gumball pile. Gumball pile is used to craft the shotgun. The shotgun is a shotgun that will shoot 2 gumball that will bounce pretty much everywhere. It has 4 shots and can be reloaded with extra gumballs. Also be careful because you can hit some unwanted target with that. Now the Caniac is an aggressive mob made out of candy cane that, if far enough, will simply run at you or lunge at you if you're too far away. And even if you're high up in an elevated place, the Ouch can jump pretty high. He can see you from very far away and can be pretty annoying if you don't expect them. It wouldn't be an Alex mod without an annoying mob. When slain, the Caniac has a chance to drop sharpened candy cane. The sharpened candy cane can be turned back into peppermint powder. They can make the candy cane hook, and that hook can latch onto walls, item, and can fling you pretty much everywhere. And if you grab a mob, there is, I think, no limit for the distance, and the further you go, the fastest the mob will be flinged. These can be dual wielded, so you can basically make a giant slingshot just like that and fling yourself across the room. Oh, and be sure to wear your boots. But the candy cane hook can also be used for something else. But for that, we still need the sharpened candy cane, the gelatin, and the gumball pile to craft a gob thumper. The gob thumper is a summoning item that is used to summon... Oh, there it comes. The gum worm. And if you manage to hook the worm with your hook, you can ride the thing. You can make it jump, you can try to control it. It is pretty hard to control, and it can sometimes go through the floor and suffocate you, but otherwise it is a very fun mob to control. It has a lunge attack that can do damage if you land the jump right. And the neat part about this mob is that you can summon it pretty much anywhere. Want to ride the worm in the end? To jump across islands? Well, you can. I wouldn't maybe recommend it until you learn how to control it. Or else if you want to jump in the void, jump. Right now the Gumwar is a bit bugged and only has 30 HP. It is supposed to have 150, so you can take advantage of that. But killing the worm will drop its Sweet Tooth. And Sweet Tooth is used to make the Sack of Satan. The Sack of Satan is a very unique item as you can feed it anything that can be eaten, and it will store hunger bar. And when you lose hunger in survival mode, it will slowly replenish your hunger 1 bar at a time. So it is not great to heal during fights, as it will take some time, but if you're working on something, you don't even have to think about food anymore. Just put a bunch of steaks in that and you're good. Or a stack of blocks, I guess, from the cave. The Sweet Tooth can also brew a potion of Speed 2 into a potion of Sugar Rush. And finally, for the last mob inside the candy cavities, you will find these dark tower, home of the Lico Witch. These Lico Witch can be found playing with their cauldron and can be some fierce adversary. They will summon some peppermint, summon mobs at you. They can eat to heal. They can summon some flying peppermint around them, but they can also summon hex on the ground to hurt you. Ow. Normal witch can also spawn in the structure, but once killed, the Lico Witch can drop the Radiant Essence. There is also a very slim chance that they drop their Sugar Staff. If you right-click with a Sugar Staff, you will spawn some peppermint around you, and if you crouch while right-clicking the staff, you will spawn a hex under your feet. The hex will basically make the mob bounce and hurt them along the way. The radiant essence is used to craft the most powerful blocks of the candy cavities. First of all, there's the confection oven. If powered with a redstone block and start to generate some gingerbread men, these gingerbread men are hostile against anything that is not themselves. You can also choose which color of gingerbread men you want by putting a candy rock under the furnace. And gingerbread men of other colors will attack the other colors, resulting into a gingerbread war, just like the clay soldier from early Minecraft. I forgot to mention, if you rename the gingerbread Caro, Alex, Deno, Getito, Veki, Plummet, and Holiday, they will have some unique skin based on the developer and the artist of the mod. Now let's talk about the most powerful item from the candy cavity, the conversion crucible. This is a bit of a complicated item, but this thing can transform any area into another biome. Oh wow, there's some candy cavities sticking out of the world. But let's say we want to transform this ice spike biome into the candy cavities. You're going to place the crucible on the floor, and then you're going to craft the biome treat. You're gonna then go in the biome that you want to copy from, but for the biome treat to function, you actually need to be on 0 hunger. And once you reach 0 hunger, you are going to eat the candy, and now the candy will have the biome inscribed into it. Now you gotta return back to where you want to place the biome, and you're going to throw the treat in the crucible. And now the crucible will ask you blocks that is from the candy cavity or any biome that you want to copy. So now it wants a block of frosted chocolate. We're gonna give it a block of frosted chocolate. Oh, and now it wants a sweet tooth. There we go. The conversion crucible is full, and now it is going, yeah, there we go. So if we go in F3 right now, we are in the candy cavities. The only thing is you can only have one biome active at a time, because I recreated here, and what was the biome over here disappeared. So unfortunately, it's only one biome per crucible. And finally, let's talk about all the new enchants for the candy cavity. Starting with Far Flung, and this will make so that the hook will shoot you even further than before. You can also add a straight hook which launch you directly ahead and you're not hindered by gravity. So this is technically the best way to make the slingshot. Whee! And finally, you can add Sharp Cane, dealing 3 damage per level of enchantment. So each time you attach the target, it should deal 6 damage. And sometimes it's a bit inconsistent, but as you can see, we killed a zombie. Now, moving on to the shotgun, we have the Enchanted Ricochet. This enchantment will make Candy Ball bounce towards an entity as soon as it hits the ground, or another entity, making it an excellent crowd control. Next one is the Triple Split that cannot be combined with the Ricochet, but it makes the gumball split into 3 when it hits the target, making it another type of really good crowd control. The next one is called the Bouncy Ball, and it can be added to either the targeted Ricochet or the Triple Split, and it makes the ball bounce 2 times for each level, and it can go up to 6 bounce, making it extremely good in an enclosed area, because it can bounce for a really long time. And the last one for the shotgun is the Explosive Flavor. And instead of 2 balls, you shoot only 1 big, slow, explosive ball. This one can also be combined with the targeted Ricochet or the Bouncy Ball and the Triple Split, making it an extremely deadly combo of explosion. And finally, for staff, we have Humongous Hex. This will make so that the hex that you cast is 1 block bigger per level of enchantment. So this is a level 2 and this is a level 0. So that is a good way to say back off to the mobs going towards you. You can combine it with the Spell Lasting that makes it last 3 seconds for each level for a maximum of 9 more seconds. Then there's the Sea Candy. Peppermint created by the staff seek out an entity the attackers looks at. When you do the normal right click, the candies will go toward the enemy. And finally, it can be combined also with the Peppermint Punting, which makes the peppermint bounce directly ahead instead of around the attacker. Just like the witch can do. And that concludes the showcase of the new cave from Alex Cave, the Candy Cavity. Hope you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. I also made myself a blue sky, so if you want to follow me there, the link's in the description. And as always, you're awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.